What's up, everybody? It's your girl Sade Vaughn, better known as Dree, coming to you live yet again from New York City. Unfortunately, this is a sad video, challenging video, and I'm really hoping that we are able to get some things rectified. I'm hoping that there can be some recompense in this situation. So I'll wait for everyone to come. Please go ahead and share it if you need to. Do everything you need to do. We'll take a couple minutes and then I'll get started. I'll be doing some shout outs while I wait. Shout out to Linda Townsend. I need some lotion on my hands. When you're in the live, let me see you hashtag what's the tea and flood my screen with hearts so I know when y'all ready for me to get started. Again, when you reach the live, let me see you hashtag what's the tea and flood my screen with hearts. Please share this live as well, because this is the only time I'm going to be addressing this publicly. This is the only time that I'm going to be giving this energy anymore, because to be quite honest with you, there have been issues for years that I've said nothing about as it relates to Madison. There has been issues for years that I never talk about as it relates to Gio. There have been issues for years that I have never spoken about as it relates to Cherry. I really am only doing this video and speaking and calling people out by name because Armon did not respect my right as a victim to speak my story on my own. So I have to take matters into my own hands and speak my truth from my perspective, because I don't feel like he handled that in an effective manner. And you're not going to use my pain for your purpose just because you have an immense dislike for this lady. Now, I'm not in defense of Madison anymore, and I'm not in defense of the brand anymore. However, I'm not going to allow someone, I'm absolutely not going to allow anyone to speak my story for me. So, once we get to, hold on one second. Let me turn this down. Just hold on one second. I'm trying to make sure this works before I get started, because once I get started, you guys are gonna have my undivided attention, and I'm not going to be giving a whole lot of attention to outside sources or so on and so forth. I want to be very clear that the whole purpose of me going live is not to be messy. It's not rooted in a place where I even stand to gain or benefit anything by tearing TsMadison down. TsMadison opened a lot of doors for me, during our time together, but I just need to make and set the record very, very clear as far as where I stand, as far as she's concerned, and as far as this situation is concerned. So, with that being said, it looks like you guys are ready. Hey everyone. Hey everyone. What's up, Sunky? What's good, Sunky? So, let me give you guys a little bit of background as far as I'm concerned, for people who may not know who I am. My name is Sade Vaughn. However, I'm formerly known as Dree. I have been a celebrity makeup artist for 13 years at this point. I started doing makeup professionally at the age of 17. I started working for MAC when I was 18. And during my tenure in corporate beauty, from 2007 until 2012 initially, I was with MAC the entire time. And I worked with MAC from Alabama Georgia, Florida, California, and New York within that time. During my time at MAC Cosmetics, I grew exceptionally fast, like extremely fast. By the time I was 21, MAC Cosmetics had moved me from Atlanta to New York to be a part of the team that opened up and managed the Grand Central location. It's a very tiny, small MAC boutique in Grand Central Station here in New York City. So I was relocated here at 21 to be a product specialist trainer for MAC at Grand Central Station at 21, based off of my skill set as a makeup artist, based off of my skill set as an educator, okay? Also, during that time from 2007 until 2011, 2012, when I left MAC, my client list was crazy. Keisha Cole, Tiny, Tamika Tiny, Tip's wife, VH1, the Love and Hip Hop branch and franchise, the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise, excuse me, because a lot of people don't really understand that the Real Housewives of Atlanta, just to give you guys some context of the timeline, debuted in 2008. I'm gonna be looking down to read some of you guys' comments. So from there, I left MAC in 2012 while I left MAC in 2013. And decided to go to the L'Oreal Institute. So I went to the L'Oreal Institute here in New York, which is a very prestigious academy. What's up, Sade? Which is a very prestigious academy. And I did that. And from there, I started working with Madison. I met Madison in 2011, but at that time, Madison was still doing porn. Madison had just recently gone viral on Vine, and prior to that situation, I didn't know anything about her. As a matter of fact, my store manager at Grand Central Station, who's now trans, actually is the one who told me about Madison the first time. I knew nothing about Madison prior to the Vine video where she came to the door and pulled her dick out. I knew nothing about her prior to that. So, let me grab some tissue. I knew nothing about her. So, sorry, I'm just getting over a cold. I knew nothing about her, and I will go through and read some of you guys' comments at some point. Just let me get past this first part. I knew nothing about her. So, for about a year after he told me about her, I did my research and I fell in love with her. Like, absolutely fell in love with her. So I happened to be in Atlanta at one point in time visiting my boyfriend at the time. And well, we were in Atlanta and we were having some issues. So we had like broken up. So I was like on Jack'd, like on a gay social networking site. And at this time, y'all, I was hot. So my profile picture on my Jack'd account was, you know, my unmentionable or whatever. And I seen Madison's profile. So I reached out to her. Hey, oh my God, I love you so much. I think you're dope. I think you have so much star potential, so much star quality. I really can see how you can flip this and grow. I would love the opportunity to work with you. And mind you, this is on Jack'd, okay? Because I mean, I didn't know when else I was gonna have the opportunity to say something to her. So her response at the time was, child, I'm still doing porn. I ain't really got a whole lot of stuff going on, but let's be cool because I like you and the way you kicked it to me. And shit, I'm a freak, so you got your dick all in my face. So yeah, I'm for it. You know, let's stay in contact. So we became friends. We became friends, and what's up, Nautica? Hey, sis. We became friends, and I began to confide in her a lot. I was born in 1990, just to give you guys a little bit of context. So whatever year it is, that's my age. So this was around, so for about 2 years, so from 2011 into 2013, we were just kind of like, it was either from 2011 to 2013 or 2012 to 2014. That's really what the numbers I think are. So, she said, you know, I don't have anything else going on but porn right now. And we'll catch up whenever things start to cross over, blah, 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 blah. So for 2 years, we built a budding friendship. We were talking a whole lot. We were really good friends. I really began to adore her and adore the relationship that we had. You know, it was really good friends. At that time, like I said, we met on Jack'd with my unmentionables. as the main profile picture. So I already had a level of comfort with Madison as far as my body is concerned and as far as sexuality is concerned. So our friendship had gotten like deep enough to the point where, you know, like when I would have my little sessions or whatever with some guys, you know, getting some head or something like that, I would shoot her over a video. It was even a couple of times where I was on FaceTime, you know, like getting my ass ate, and I FaceTime or whatever, like, you know, being silly. Things that you do with your homegirl that you have, homegirl or homeboy that you have that type of rapport with. So I'm just kind of like giving you guys context of the relationship that we had prior to the business starting to take off. So fast forward to when business did begin to take off. It was amazing from the jump. Like from day one, from the time we met each other, from the very first time I did her makeup, it was a match made in heaven as far as the rapport that she and I had, and as far as the rapport that Gio and I had. Honestly, it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful from the jump. And to the point where there had already been a handful of other artists who were trying to align with her brand, and a handful of artists and hairstylists who wanted to be in that position. And her manager, Gio, at the time, and her, mostly Gio, really liked me. And he made it a point for me to understand that he did not really care for black gay men at the time, and that they just were not his cup of tea, that he was married to someone white, that just was not his tea. He didn't really see it for the black gay boys or whatever. But that I was the first one at that time that he had a lot of respect for, and he loved the way that I painted her. So the relationship was cool, even though that's kind of underhanded and slightly has a tone of racist to it. Whatever. So everything was great. You know, you have to have been there to know that for about 4.5 years, she and I were together non-stop in terms of the way her brand was set up. As I told you guys, I left MAC in 2012, 2013, went to the L'Oreal Institute. So around this time, my schedule was pretty open, and I was really going for being 100% entrepreneur, and I had a lot of time on my hands. So I had no problem going to this state with her, going to that state with her. I had no issues whatsoever with committing myself to the brand, regardless to like the time that may have needed to be invested, because I seen so much potential in the situation. You understand what I'm saying? It had become, her and I's relationship had gotten so close that I had became an extension of the brand, and her followers could tell when I was not doing her makeup. That's how close it was. They had found a respect for the art that I had given her, and for the foundation and blueprint that I laid for that platform as far as image consulting is concerned. So that's just to speak to the relationship that we had. You know, we have shared hotel rooms together. You know, there have been times when her mother, because her mother has a few physical ailments and she walks with a cane or a walker sometimes. So there have been even times where I have called guys like that I'm dating and messing with on the side to like bring Miss Mary a cane, all types of different things. Just giving you guys a context of the friendship that we had. You know, she had really became like a mother figure in my life. Because my mother and I don't have a good relationship, and she and her mom had really finally started to bridge the gap with as far as their relationship is concerned. So, you know, hold on one second. Okay. Bridge the gap as far as the as far as motherhood was concerned, and just they really began to just like love on me, and the situation ended up great. Okay, so now let's talk about that's one part of it. That's one part of it. So now let's talk about Cherry for a second. We're gonna come back to this. Before I go for that kind of gives you guys this context as far as our relationship. I don't really see any comments, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm gonna continue going. Let's talk about Cherry for a second, because I wanna wrap everything up, because once I start going off, I wanna say what I need to say, and then I'm gonna get off of this live, because again, like I said, this is not really cute, and I didn't really appreciate Armon taking it upon himself to use my pain for his purpose. And what's more shady about it is that he and I have a personal relationship, so you could have absolutely, he and I spoke prior to, but you could have absolutely let me know that you were going to be using my pain for your purpose, so that I could have done whatever I needed to do on my end to speak for myself. You are dead ass wrong. You are dead ass wrong. and I want to be very, very clear, Armon, you are dead ass wrong. And because I'm trans and I'm a lady now, the way my graciousness is set up, that's why I didn't curse you out at that moment. That's why I'm not being ghetto about the situation, because again, I'm not Dree and Tony anymore. My name is Sade Winter Vaughn, okay? And I need for you to absolutely respect my transition, okay? Do not use my pain for your pleasure or anyone's pain for your purpose or pleasure. It's absolutely unprofessional. It's absolutely disgusting, and it speaks to the fact that your hate and dislike and disdain for Madison is larger than the integrity that you have for yourself and for the content that you put out to represent your brand. So that's first and foremost as far as Armon is concerned before I even get into the Cherry situation. You are dead ass wrong, and as someone who knows me personally, you absolutely had the opportunity to respect me and to respect the situation that happened, because sexual assault is not anything to play with, first of all. And secondly, you set your ass up there on your platform and used my story as a launch pad to continue to be messy as far as Madison was concerned. You were not advocating for people who are victims of sexual assault. You were not advocating for anyone who has been victim shamed before. You were not coming from a place of positive intention. And I don't really see how you could feel like we would not fall out by you playing your hand that way. So I want you to know that I see you, you see me, we see each other, and that's that. I'm moving on as far as Armon is concerned to the story. So, sorry, someone called me. Damn. Are y'all frozen? Can you see me? If you can see me, please hashtag we see you. Let me know if you can see me. Can you see me now? Did it unfreeze? Let me know if you can see me now. Okay, cool. All right, so Armon absolutely sensationalized my story. And for people whose education may not be where it needs to be, the definition of sensationalizing is when you take a story and you glorify it or water it down at the expense of the truth, okay? It's when you tell the story and tell the truths of it, but it's when you tell the story in the wrong sequence. It's when you when you sensationalize. So he absolutely sensationalized that entire conversation. So I have a problem with that. Now let's get to Cherry. Share this live, because this is going to be one of the harder parts for me. Now just stay around and stick around, because you're going to have all the tea to really follow. Moving forward, Cherry and I met probably in 2009, at least easily a decade ago. Cherry always had a crush on me. No shade, I'm cute as hell now. I was cute as hell before I transitioned. I definitely was cute as hell. Shit was together, popping makeup artist. Mind you, this is before Madison. So, you know, popping makeup artist. At this time, as far as Atlanta is concerned, as far as makeup artists and hairstylists go, the most popping people at the time who were on the rise were myself, Tokyo, Japan, a guy named Betrayal who's not here anymore, and this guy named Dior who's not here anymore. That was really like the people who were, you know, working with the celebrities and gaining momentum or whatever. So I got a lot of respect from Cherry. Cherry was wanted to be a makeup artist or whatever. And she was attracted to me, and we were cool, you know, for some time. Don't get me wrong. She had a crush on me, and that was clear and apparent anytime we were around each other, because if you know anything about Cherry, you know that she's very direct and she says what you want. She's the type of girl who's like, yo, what's up, nigga? I want to see your dick right now. Like, she's that type of girl. So it was very clear that she had an attraction for me. We were cool, but she was not my type. She was never my type. Let me be clear when I say before Cherry transition, Cherry was a bum. Cherry's shit was not together. Her shit was not together. She fought all the time. She was always in some drama. You guys can go on YouTube right now and type in, "You don't even wear Chanel." And that first video that comes up as a fight, the profile name is Hot You Dudes. That's my auntie. She posted that video of Cherry fighting. So I'm just giving you context of the type of person that Cherry was at that time. So with that being said, I was never attracted to her on that level. We were cool, so there were times where we hung out, smoked together. I think I spent the night, you know, with her over her place, maybe at least maybe once. I can't remember if I stayed there or if we just like laid there and took a nap or something like that. But like we were cool, you know. But it was never more than that. For my, no, she was not J King. No, she was not. Cherry just recently trans. Cherry has not been a girl for more than, in my mind, I want to say it hasn't been more than 5 years, but to be quite honest with you, I cut that hoe off and I wasn't paying attention to when she transitioned, so I can't tell you when, but at this time in 2009, no, she had not transitioned. I hadn't transitioned, she hadn't transitioned. We were both butch queens at this time. So that's just to give you guys some context. Anytime she saw me, anytime we were out, she always came up to me, she wanted me, and anybody who really knows this lady knows that that's how she is and that's how she operates with men in general, gay, straight, whatever. So it just wasn't happening for me, you know, that it wasn't my thing. So on this one specific night, somehow I ended up giving her a ride home from the club or from somewhere. I don't really know how I ended up at her house. I can't remember. I can't remember why I didn't just drop her off and leave. Maybe we were gonna smoke a blunt or something like that. I can't really remember. But at any rate, what happened is she took my phone. I had 2 phones at the time, and she took my backup phone, my hoe phone, my trap phone. And it didn't have a lock on it. This was 2009. So it didn't have a lock on it. It was just a little flip phone. I had an iPhone as my main phone, and I had a little flip phone as my trap phone. Yes, Shayla Poindexter. Yes. So she's going through my trap phone and she's reading all of the text messages from like niggas that I have been fucking with, you know, reading like my sexual escapades or like my hookups and all this stuff with these guys. So she immediately gets pissed off like, yo, I'm shocked. You a hoe and you out here doing this and doing that, doing this and doing that, and I can't even get the time of the day. You doing this and you doing that with this person and with that person. So why can't I get no play? And I'm like, girl, give me my damn phone back. Like, give me my phone. You're doing the most. I'm getting ready to go. So she's like, nah, nigga, you're not going nowhere. I looked up to you. I actually wanted to be a makeup artist because of you. You know, so on and so forth. And you've been playing me this whole time. You out here giving all of these other different people play. So I'm like, girl, you're bugging. You're crazy. I need to go. Let me out. So I take my phone and she stands up. Well, actually, her door was open at this point, and her roommate was standing in the middle. Her roommate was standing like in the doorway, and I'm like, girl, I'm getting ready to leave. So she stands up in between me and her roommate, pushes him out the door, steps forward again, and closes the door. Nigga, you not going nowhere. You about to give me some play. So I just like, girl, you are getting ready to let me go. You're being irrational. This is too much. You're bugging the fuck out. So she pulls out a knife, a box cutter. And she puts it up to my face and she says, pull that shit out. You're gonna let me suck your dick. Like, you're gonna let me suck your dick. So anybody who knows anything about this girl now knows how impulsive and how irrational she is right now. At that time, Cherry didn't have nothing to lose. Nobody was not checking for this girl. She respectfully was a late dusty butch queen, just trying to get it together, going from pillar to post, hopping from house to house to house to house to house. Her shit was not together. And again, respectfully, mine was not the type of girl or person, excuse me, that I was at all interested in dating. So I had seen this girl fight multiple times. I had seen this girl and the drama that she had going on multiple times. And she has just like this crazy eye and crazy appeal. So I'm just sitting there looking at her, shocked at this point. And I'm taking off my earrings, taking off my nose ring, because I'm thinking I'm getting ready to have to fight this bitch, because I really believe truly in my heart that this lady would cut me for sure. You understand what I'm saying? I believe this in my heart that this person will cut me, you know, and I respect her. The fact that she's transitioned and that she's a girl now. So this is why I'm not saying male pronouns. Take a bite of that lesson, Armon. It's not that hard to respect someone. You see how I can still have a baseline level of respect for this person's identity, even though I have absolutely no respect for her, generally speaking? Take fucking notes. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I honestly believed in my heart of hearts that this girl was gonna cut me. So she sits down on the bed and she still got the knife to me at this point. And she like reaches up under her pillow and she like, bitch, I got a pistol. I will shoot the shit out of you. At that point, I pull my shit out. Girl, just suck it. Just suck it, girl. her roommate is outside the door like, oh my God, girl, let that person leave. Let him leave. Let him go, girl. You know, like, it was a mess. So she sucks it. Mind you, I'm not even hard. She sucks it. She's sitting there masturbating, doing her thing. She comes. I get my shit. I go. Okay? So I was staying with my aunt at the time when this happened. Me and my auntie Hachu. She's a hairstylist. And I immediately went home and I was devastated. I was devastated. I had never had anything taken from me in that way before. And I was just so upset because at that time my career had really started to take off, and I wasn't really sure how to react, what to do, or anything. I was absolutely floored. So I rushed home to my auntie Hachu. Do you know this bitch Christopher? You know, raped me. And that was that. So that's the story as far as Cherry is concerned. So let's fast forward now back to, well, no, I have to say at that time, this was around the time when me and Madison was just in our friendship phase while she was still doing porn, leading up to her transitioning over to mainstream media. So I told Madison about it at that time as well because we had a budding relationship, you know? So she knew about it exactly when it happened, okay? So fast forward to the point where everything started to take off with Madison and we started really traveling a lot, like around 2015. I had moved, let me make sure I tell this correctly. Okay, so me and Madison are working together. Everything's fine, everything had taken off, everything is good. We're back at 2015 now. So the very first day I had ever worked for Madison, the very first time, there was issues with money, not on her behalf, just issues with the person who had booked her and then booked me. So I'm speaking to that just to say that I didn't get paid for that very first time for quite some time. And I still had no issue doing it or anything like that. I'm just speaking to my loyalty to the situation. So overall, from the beginning of 2015 to the end of 2015, we were everywhere. We was doing it, you know, we really helped to usher in the beauty appeal that you see all over Facebook now. Madison and I were doing that shit years before the public had the go live option. It's still on her page right now. It's still on my personal page right now. If you feel like scrolling down and going all the way to 2015, at the time where only celebrities or people with large followings could go live on Facebook through an app called Facebook Mentions, that was me and Madison. We were doing a damn thing. You understand what I'm saying? I was the only one at that time that had that type of access of everyone on Facebook, especially within the black community, who was doing that. So we were doing it. So within that time, Madison and I are the same signs. I'm getting ready to you have to just listen, Sheree. Sheree, you have to just listen. Just listen and you'll know what she has to do with it. Just listen. So at this point, and I'm not going to get back to the part about Cherry until a little bit towards the end of this story, and then I will take questions and everything. So just give me about a good 5 more minutes, maybe 10 at the most, to finish it, because I have to tell you every single part so you understand why things are the way they are now. So during this time, Madison and I are the same sign, so our energies really feed off of each other. Anybody who has been there from the beginning knows that it was pure gold when TsMadison and Dree Antonio got together. Whether we were just joking and talking shit on camera, whether we were doing makeup, whether we were like singing and doing all of these different things, it was good. So up comes Paint Bitch Paint. Madison and I are doing makeup one day, we're singing jingles. Madison and I are doing makeup one day, and I can't remember how it exactly happened, but I think she looked in the mirror and was like, oh my God, bitch, I look so good, bitch, paint, bitch. And then she started saying, paint, bitch, paint, and I jumped in, let's go, ain't that it? Madison. So that became, every time I did her makeup, that actually became an extension of her brand, and it catapulted my brand at the time, just as far as brand visibility as it related to my talent as a makeup artist. So that really became a part of my brand. So much so to the point where I made my website paintdree.com, and I had paid for a lot of legal proceedings to protect that slogan, so that I could get paid to use it and own the rights to it. So fast forward to December 2015, when Lee Daniels released that he was going to put out Star. So at this time, Lee Daniels reposted our Paint Bitch Paint video. And under the post, of course, I'm ecstatic. Oh my God, this is Lee Daniels who is posting me and Madison, and Paint Bitch Paint is about my art. Oh my God, this is exciting. Lee, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for, you know, having my girl on the camera. Thank you for supporting my girl, and thank you for supporting me. You need to book her, and you need to book me. So Madison's LA makeup artist, thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Sunkeep. Madison's LA makeup artist at the time, with his tired, late ass, David Pescado, decided to comment under the post with the emoji pointing up towards my comment saying, "This thirsty ass bitch." So at that time, that man didn't know me from Adam. And my loyalty was 100% to Madison at the time. So I couldn't understand why he would be an embarrassment to himself and why he would be an embarrassment to the brand. So I came up off of Lee Daniels' post, and I came to Facebook, and I called his ass out right there on the post. Okay? So when I did it, all of these different things came up from this guy, David. Oh, you're in Madison's shadows. If you weren't doing Madison's makeup, you would not have the notoriety that you have, blah, 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 blah. So Gio actually commented under it and was like, oh, you guys need to stop, blah, blah, blah. And I got pissed and was like, no, absolutely not. This guy disrespected me. And at this time, Madison was really, really, really outspoken at this point in time, because she was still continuing to build her brand. So my response was, this lady says whatever she wants when someone disrespects her, and I always have her back. But this gentleman absolutely disrespected me, and I can't stand up for myself. No, honey. As a matter of fact, I don't ever have to do Madison's makeup again, and I'll still be that girl. Have you bitches forgotten that I started off working for the Real Housewives franchise, that I started off with an Emmy Award winning agency, that I started off in corporate beauty? I don't need this. Technically speaking, Madison is a C-lister or D-lister at best in comparison to the clients that I had the opportunity of working with before. So I don't have to take this. I know my value, and I don't have to take this. So that was my response at that time. Like, if you feel like I'm wrong for saying something, fuck all y'all, because I don't really need it. So I was really hurt at that situation, because during that time when things were going really good, Madison's beef with Samantha James had gotten really out of hand. There was a time when we were here in New York doing a booking, and Madison had got a phone call from her alarm company, and that Cookie Tookie had someone had set Madison's house on fire. And, you know, I'm gonna say allegedly it was Cookie, because there were some things that were communicated prior to that would have led us to believe that it was at the hands of Samantha. Okay? And there were other situations during that time when the beef got really bad with Samantha, where some girls in the House of Revlon here in New York approached me, you know, physically, and I had to protect myself. There were other situations where Samantha's team specifically was harassing me, calling me, DMing me, texting me constantly to do Madison's makeup. And it was people continuously and constantly reaching out to me to try to go through me to hurt Madison. To hurt Madison. Okay? And I stood 10 toes down for this lady. I never, ever, ever spoke out about anything. So when that situation happened, I was out. Because you can't care about me. My health was at risk with these girls approaching me up here in New York, and you're not even here. I'm here by myself at that time. And I had to deal with that physical altercation on my own. People reaching out to me, harassing me, trying to go through me to hurt you. you know, and all the things that I was there for, with your house being put on fire, with all these different threats and stuff coming through. I stood there and had her back 10 toes down. So when that situation happened, when David disrespected me on social media and you sat back and said nothing, because I know you watching, Madison, hey, when you sat back and you said nothing, that fucked me up in my head, and immediately I was gone. And I meant it, that I did never have to do her makeup again, and I will be fine, because I don't need that type of energy in my life. And regardless, self comes first. The first time you did me dirty, I was gone, and you know it, because that was some bullshit. That opportunity when Lee put us on his platform, that was not all the way about you, and you wanted to make it all the way about you, so you could only be the one to get clout and to get shine from that situation. And Paint Bitch Paint was not yours. He did not take a TsMadison video where you was talking your shit. He took a video of TsMadison and Dree Antonio singing Paint Bitch Paint, which represents my brand. So that was absolutely about me. So I was pissed. To speak further to that point, Madison did not call me for 3 days when that situation happened, and I was upset. 3 days it took her to call me. 3. And when she finally did call me, guess what she said? Well, Dree, I understand your frustration, but girl, I just really did not like what you said about me. Oh, I really didn't like it when you said you don't have to do my makeup anymore. Like, was that necessary? And I'm like, yo, bitch, I'm sorry. Was I the one who was offended and disrespected? Or were you the one who was offended and disrespected? How dare you call my phone while I'm in pain, while I'm upset at your lack of loyalty, and you call and you make it about you? Have you lost your mind? I meant it when I said I don't ever have to do your makeup anymore. I meant that. So this is what I'm saying to you guys in this moment. I said that to her verbatim, and that's what she said to me verbatim. Madison, I said at that time, Madison, I absolutely meant it when I said I don't have to do your makeup no more. I'm not, because they were making it seem like I was in her shadows, or like Madison had made my career at that time, and it's not true. Madison was supplemental to my career, and you guys seen me grow a whole lot at that time, because I wasn't working for a corporation at this specific moment. I had just finished up at the L'Oreal Institute, and I was completely dedicated to the brand of Madison. I had a boyfriend, you know, who was, Tayo was the senior agent for Click Modeling Agency up here in New York, and managed the one in Atlanta. So I didn't have no money issues. I had a boyfriend who supported me, so I was able to travel and do all those things and not really worry about, you know, anything. So I don't need you. I don't need you. So she's just like, well, girl, I understand. Let's just leave it where it's at, and I'll catch you on the flip side. So at that point, I didn't really speak to Madison for about 6 or 7 months at that point, and I had moved to LA. My ex and I had moved to LA. So at that time, I was really hurt, and I was really jaded by the situation, because Madison went on to be associated with Lee and Star and doing all of those things, blah, 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 blah. And I had put in so much work and so much effort, and you're winning, and you're using my brand of Paint Bitch Paint now to market other makeup artists. So, well, I'm speaking ahead. So she and I linked up one time while we were out while she was out in California, and we went to Norm's in California, and we talked face to face about it. And because the thing about it is that the general consensus between she and I was, okay, this is not working professionally, but I love you so much, girl, and you love me so much, so let's at least be friends, you know? Let's at least be friends. So we kind of like rectified it. We didn't really rectify it. We just at least solidified our relationship at that moment. Right, Star, exactly. So, fast forward. So again, I meant what the hell I said. So I stayed out in LA. I was doing wonderful out in LA without Madison. I did great. I actually ended up taking another job that moved me back to Atlanta as a national artist trainer for Urban Decay. So now, fast forward, it's the end of 2016, going into the beginning of 2017. I moved back to Atlanta from LA, November of 2016, okay? So at that time, well, during that time, well, that year, she and I had worked together a couple of times. And one specific time while we were out in California, out in DC, Chi stole Gio's car. And it came up missing. He was still in Atlanta. Gio's keys were in the bedroom. This young man rummaged through this man's stuff, took his car to go and pick up Trade from offline. Trade is a deal guy. Got pulled over by the police and ended up going to jail. So this was my first indication that Madison's loyalty was off, because Madison held the secret to herself for like a day or two while they were trying to find Gio's car before she told him. Okay? So we come back to Atlanta. He gets his car back. Chi did it. Boom. She sent Chi away back to Florida for a while. So at this time, WeTV was scouting her to do a show that was like the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but the circle of trans girls. It was herself, it was Felicity, it was Shauna Brooks, it was this lady named Yanni Walton, it was Shayla Stacks, and Madison. And we filmed this entire pilot. WeTV put in $250,000 for this. Okay, so if this happened, like I said, in November of 2017, I was back in Atlanta full time at this point. And the situation fell through. Well, before the situation fell through, on the evening where we were wrapping up the pilot, I smoked with Chi. I smoked a blunt. And Madison has been very clear, and I'm going to be transparent in this situation. I'm going to be very transparent. And yes, that's why he was missing for a while at that time, Zuri. That's why he was gone for a while, because he had stolen Gio's car. Okay? And so back to the day we wrapped up for WeTV. This is the second time we fell out now. This is going to be the second time. Madison, I'm going to be transparent. Madison has always made it very clear from the jump that she didn't really like the fact that I smoked weed. And she especially did not want me to smoke with Chi because Chi have some stuff going on in his head, and Chi really changes when he smokes weed. So she constantly said, Dree, please do not smoke with Chi. Please don't, especially when I'm working. Please don't, because he be doing the most. So on this one specific day, I had smoked after we had wrapped. Everybody else was drinking. Madison wasn't drinking at the time, so Madison was sober. Gio had his regular ramen diet. I'm off that liquor and some weed, all the girls are gone. At this point, it's myself, Miss Mary, and Madison sitting all at her dining room table. So at this point, I asked for Gio to manage me, because we were pretty sure that the WeTV situation was going to be picked up. And I just was like, hey, it'll work best, and he said no. And I said, well, why? So come to find out, in that situation, Gio had been really upset with me for about 6 months, because when we were in New York one time at a gig, a rental car in Madison's name ended up having a dent on the side of it, and it was in Gio's possession. Not Madison's nor mine's. So when we noticed it, Madison and I are having commentary amongst each other, and she's like, well, what do you think happened? Because Gio said he didn't do it. So my response to Madison was, girl, I didn't drive it. You didn't drive it. Obviously, he either did it or it happened while it was in his possession, like somebody sideswiped it while he was parked that night. Something. You understand what I'm saying? So from there, when Gio and I spoke about this, Gio was really upset, because Gio was absolutely adamant that he did not get into a collision in this rental car. And he was like, girl, I want to quit. Girl, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. So I went back to Madison and was like, girl, let's figure out what the situation is. He's talking about he want to quit. This is like really minuscule. You pay for insurance with a rental car, girl. It's not really that big of a deal. So Madison went back to Gio and said whatever she said to him and made it seem like I was double crossing Gio and saying to her what she had said to him. What he has said to me. I'm really thinking that, because he's never admitted to me exactly what she said, but I'm really thinking that it was one of those situations where, because Madison is a Libra, we're the same sign, we're very intuitive and very discerning. So I'm really assuming that Madison kind of like had a taste of what he probably said to me, and she took a guesstimate and was right, and then he told on himself. So he felt like, because I didn't say anything to her in that moment besides he said he want to quit, girl, like let's figure out how to get past this. However, he was mad for 6 months and I had no idea what had happened. From that point up until this point at the table when we were wrapping up this pilot for WeTV, I never knew until then that he was upset with me for 6 months. I could not understand why he was ignoring my text messages. I could not understand why he was acting so shady for that 6 months, and that was the reason. I see your comment, Sunky. Let me see if I can pin this. Yep, there it go, pinned. So I never knew up until this point. So this whole 6 months, he was upset with me. He felt like I was late and all these different type of things. So when I asked him to manage me, he said no at this point. So I don't really know how we got to the point of the conversation where I started to get pissed off. But there was a point where Madison said, well, girl, you know, I really don't like you smoking weed. You know, I really don't like this and like that. And my response, and Gio basically supplemented her statement to me. I can't remember exactly what he said, and I'm not going to spew any lies. But my response to that was, excuse me, are y'all motherfuckers forgetting I don't work for you, Madison? And I don't work for you, Gio. I am an independent contractor. I have an LLC, and I'm here as a business to provide you a service. Have you ever looked a mess? No. Have you ever been late going on set? No. Have I ever come on the set smelling and reeking like weed and embarrassing you? No, absolutely not. You are not in the position to tell me what I can and cannot do when I'm not working. So I beg your pardon, because you're overstepping your boundary at this point. You got me fucked up. So like I said, I was drinking and smoking, and at that time I was very emotional. Hold on, I want to powder real quick. I was very emotional at that time. Because again, this was now the second time that something had happened where the loyalty was in question, because you sat here and allowed this man to be pissed at me for months, and I had said nothing wrong. I have said nothing wrong. Okay? And you got this man upset with me. So again, fuck y'all. I'm gone. I'm out. So I dipped again this time, and I had nothing to say, and I was absolutely pissed at Gio for a long time. So I should also mention that around this time is when Diana from the Dancing Dolls came in the picture for the team. Madison was cool with her, Gio was managing her, I was doing her makeup. Me and Diana had fallen out because Diana is very nasty and very disrespectful in real life. And this one specific situation, this happened shortly thereafter, like within the next day or two after we had argued that night after we wrapped up the WeTV pilot. Diana had called me. It was the opening of the dollhouse in Birmingham, Alabama, and she wanted me to come and do her makeup. And she only had $50. Yes, I said it right. She wanted me to drive from Atlanta to Birmingham for $50. So I told her no, that was an unacceptable rate. Of course, I couldn't do it, and Diana cussed me out. So I cussed her ass right back the fuck out, which, you know, like, girl, with your broke ass, woo, 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 don't ever disrespect me like that, blase, blase, blase. So from there, Gio was on my line, sending me paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs, reading me on behalf of him and Madison about my decorum, about how I was treating his client, about how, I made them look, blah, 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 blah. So that's when Gio and I fell all the way out at that moment, because I just was like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I choose self first. That's it. That's all. Okay? So now, this is the end of 2016. So, mind you, I had just moved back to Atlanta. I had taken this position with Urban Decay. Everything was straight. I wasn't really talking to Madison. I wasn't working with Madison. I was good. I had moved on. I started to go viral a couple of times. We're now into 2017. I go viral a couple of times. Everything is great. Whoop-de-whoop, whoop, whoop, whoop. So this is where I pick back up about Cherry. So I had just moved back to Atlanta from LA. I'm working for Urban Decay, and on my very first day, coming home, I was staying, me and my auntie Hachu live together again. And Hachu does hair. So I pull up to the house, and we had a salon in the back of our house. And when I get back there, Cherry is in my auntie Hachu's chair as Cherry now, okay? I think this was my first time ever seeing her as a woman. She had transitioned at this point, okay? So again, she's very mischievous. So the very first thing that Cherry said when I hit that corner and said, hey auntie, hey Dree, at that time. And I just was like, bitch, you know I don't fuck with you. You know what the fuck you did to me. And if it wasn't for you being in my home with my auntie around these clients, I would two-piece and biscuit your bitch ass, because you a rapist, bitch, and you got some motherfucking nerve coming over here when you know you did this to me. You got a lot of gall. A lot of fucking gall. So I ended up having to leave out of the house because I'm pissed. I'm pissed at her. I'm pissed at my auntie. I want to fight everybody at this point because I'm looking at my auntie like, yo, bitch, you were there. We lived together years ago at the time when this lady sexually assaulted me. And you're doing this lady's hair? Have you lost your mind? This is absolutely unacceptable, and there's no way, auntie, that I would ever align with someone who hurt you, whether it was sexual assault or something less. Okay, that's some bullshit. So me and my auntie fell out over this situation. So again, me and Madison were friends. So me and Madison ended up talking about this situation again. I reminded her of this situation again. This is in 2000. This is either 2000. This is like end of 2016 or the beginning of 2017. One of the two. I reminded her of the situation. Okay. Reminded her of the situation. She raped me. She raped me, Ken Elijah. She raped me. She raped me, okay? I already told the story, so I'm gonna leave the live up. So if you wanna go back to know about the specific situation as far as the actual